Welcome to StarWatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
At noon on January 16th, Wang Yibo released his Lunar New Year single. And at first glance, nothing about that sentence sounds unusual. New Year songs appear every year. Festive melodies arrive on schedule. Smiles, greetings, good wishes, all familiar, all expected. Yet within hours, something quietly shifted. Not with noise, not with headlines screaming for attention, but with a strange, almost unsettling pattern. People were not listening to the whole song. They were stopping, rewinding, watching again. Not because the track demanded it, but because a few seconds refused to let go. This was not a moment built by heavy promotion or dramatic build-up. It didn't announce itself. It slipped in naturally, almost casually, and still managed to pull focus from everything around it. A group celebration suddenly felt like a private encounter. And without raising his voice, without claiming space, Wang Yibo somehow became the only thing many viewers could see. That contrast between what was planned and what actually happened is where the story begins. And once you notice it, it's impossible to look away. The single itself arrived wrapped in all the symbols people expect at this time of year. Bright tones, hopeful lyrics, a sense of togetherness designed to accompany family gatherings and quiet drives home. It was meant to feel collective, inclusive, warm. A seasonal offering rather than a personal statement. And yet, somewhere between those polished intentions and the audience's response, the narrative changed. Viewers did not debate the melody or dissect the arrangement. They did not argue about rankings or charts. Instead, they focused on one brief appearance that felt unexpectedly real. Natural lighting, a relaxed posture, a voice that didn't reach for drama. It was not staged to stand out, and that was precisely why it did. In an environment where perfection is often sharpened to the edge, this moment felt rounded, human, almost unfinished, and therefore alive. What followed was not organized, but it was unmistakable. Clips began circulating not of the full song, but of a single segment isolated from the rest. That fragment was slowed down, then sped up, replayed in silence, replayed with different background sounds, replayed simply as it was. People weren't trying to prove anything. They weren't building arguments. They were responding instinctively, as if they had stumbled across something that felt personal. The phrase people repeated most was not about skill or achievement, but about feeling. It felt light, it felt calm, it felt like seeing someone breathe freely for a moment. And in a digital space that often rewards intensity, that softness carried surprising weight. There is something important to understand here. This was not about domination or competition. It wasn't about overshadowing others in a deliberate way. The attention shifted because the moment invited it. In contrast to tightly controlled appearances, this brief glimpse suggested ease. No visible effort to impress. No visible need to explain. That absence of strain created room for viewers to project their own emotions. Some saw relief. Some saw youthfulness. Others simply felt comforted. The same seconds held different meanings. And that flexibility allowed the moment to travel far beyond its original context. Another reason the response grew so quickly lies in how modern audiences engage with media. People no longer consume content in full linear forms alone. They search for fragments that resonate, pieces that can be revisited without commitment. This moment fit perfectly into that behavior. It was short enough to repeat, clear enough to remember, open enough to reinterpret. It became a shared reference point, Not because it was loud, but because it was easy to return to. In that sense, the viral spread was less about hype and more about habit. Viewers weren't chasing excitement. They were revisiting a feeling that didn't exhaust them. There was also an unspoken contrast at work. Wang Yibo has long been associated with discipline, restraint, and intensity, qualities that command respect but also create distance. This appearance softened that outline. It didn't replace his established image, it revealed another layer beneath it. And because it wasn't announced as a transformation, it felt sincere. The moment didn't say, "Look at me differently." It simply existed and allowed people to do the rest. That kind of quiet confidence is rare, especially in spaces where every second is often over-explained. Interestingly, speculation tried to follow, as it always does. Some searched for hidden meanings, larger implications, future signals, but those discussions never truly took over. They hovered at the edges while the center remained unchanged. The focus stayed on the experience itself. That, too, says something about why this moment worked. It didn't demand interpretation. It didn't require defense. It offered a pause. And in a crowded media cycle, a pause can feel more powerful than any statement. From a broader perspective, this episode reveals something about timing and presence. Releasing a song at a symbolic moment like Lunar New Year carries expectations. Meeting them is important, but transcending them is rare. Here, transcendence came not from scale, but from precision. One genuine expression, placed quietly within a larger frame, became the emotional anchor for thousands of viewers. It reminds us that influence does not always announce itself. Sometimes it settles in gently, stays longer than expected, and leaves an imprint without ever raising its voice. As the days passed, the conversation didn't burn out. It softened into something more reflective. People shared how that brief appearance made them feel optimistic, grounded, even reassured. Not because it promised anything new, but because it felt honest. And honesty, when it appears unexpectedly, has a way of spreading on its own. If you found yourself replaying those seconds or simply curious about why so many others did, you're not alone. Moments like this remind us why we watch in the first place, not for spectacle alone, but for connection. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how small moments can create lasting impact, don't forget to subscribe to StarWatch now. Your support helps us continue bringing you stories that go beyond the surface. Thank you for spending your time with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next video.